them. Dr. John Brandenburg, listeners to the show can appreciate, friend and beloved pioneer by us all, not just to the Martian revelation, but possibly beyond. You got to read Morningstar Past, Collapse of UFO Cover-Up. Putting things in the science fiction of things that they talk about or heard talk about, wink, wink, around, the fucking, the water, damn it, the water jugs in offices. All right, now, so their scientists have told them that they now know Mars is a giant sculpture. Again, validating and confirming some quack, some nut, some punk from the streets, whatever you want to call me, some pothead who claimed in 1998 that Mars is artistically sculpted on an entire planetary scale. That in this disk, confirming that for me, let alone the whoop-de-doos had to go through to get through the first minute to reveal to you. Now, remember, again, I want to bring up something. Something like this, people have always wanted and expected from Hoagland's conferences, where he would come home with hundreds and thousands of dollars. I've witnessed it. Being fanned in my face of the pride and which he should have of the award he reaped for even one day at 10 hours, 11 hours, and having to be thrown out of a building where he spoke many amazing things, but nothing, things hinted at to this. But no one would be the wiser, even me back then. Only down through time and learning this lingo, putting shit together, I start to see the bigger picture. Emily Dickinson style. Surely no intelligent life could survive there. I listened to him and he taught me well. Investigate no matter to where or to whom it leads to, despite what is being done on the fucking surface. Because he cannot officially, he cannot help, he cannot communicate. But with the tools I was able to use and piece together over the years, he's explaining the way. He's explaining even the process of what I'm doing now and what I have done to try to get the story. And it yielded results and truthful answers from him, unofficially. But to consider it, you have to be crazy. Surely no intelligent life could survive there. Would not apply to him there also, if it is in this? Now, this would make such a book, such a thing of confirmation. It would not only redeem himself, he would get so many new fans, so many damn questions. It would be so amazing. I swear, even myself, he would get some type of an award. Me, I would get some validation and vindication and have maybe a few fucking images put in my hands so I could do what needs to be done with it right also, which I also invite him to partake in as part of his legacy. And I'll tell you what, you can reap the full reward financially. It ain't about money for me. I need this solved. I did what you told me to do, what you asked me to do, in more ways than one. It's time to come forth and explain it now. Because after we get done with this second minute, there's going to be this proof that I'm not crazy, number one. I didn't make the fucking video. I didn't spew out. It ain't my thin atmosphere poisonous gas doing the talking on the surface, right? Would you agree to that, people? Am I making good points? Now, so the planet Mars we now know, we can appreciate now. Again, you cannot go backward once we take this red pill. That's what we're doing. You got to admit, you cannot unhear this. You cannot unsee this once you see it. And then when people's consciousness is changed, that's when you notice NASA can no longer keep secrets. This means you get to the truth. Now, you know what? maybe the next couple shows, instead of having guests, I'm going to be laying out some things. You know what? Because what's going through my mind now, I feel such a fire going through me, such connections. I'm exploding inside, and this could turn into 10 hours easily, and you'll be getting it for fucking free. So why not hit that big red, white, and blue American donate button at the top of the show page? Why do I sound mad? Why, exactly? You'll be like, holy shit, thanks for continuing on, because you never, ever would have seen this. Because once you're in my madness now. Break out the matrix, baby. All right, so the surface of Mars we now know is covered with meteor craters, gigantic mountains, and deserts that reach around the entire planet. And one thing more, the one that you don't see, the Mars we now know, that the Mars, is a giant sculpture. And many scientists, who happen to be our own, by the way, have said that they speculated that it was created. What was that exact word?
Sculpture that many scientists now speculate was created by some unknown race of intelligent beings.
By some unknown race of it. Again, why do I feel like on one face of understanding to these multiple faces of understandings to this? Again, we're in a different light now. We could use our intelligence to start thinking, even if it's just to rule it out. Even if it's stupid, but if it sounds like it could connect to something, ride with it, baby. Right? So many of you can appreciate that. Your mind is going to be worked. And when you go back and listen to this archive and watch it, you're going to be blown away. Even in the visuals, which I'm showing now, we're going to explain. And in order to get to the last scene, and if it is what it appears to be, you're going to have to answer and then attribute to what is seen as Earth. What does that have to do with Earth? Even the scene shown to us, even what we see now on the screen. So, which many scientists say was created by some unknown race of intelligent beings, which tells us what? They don't know who the hell it was. They're unknown. It's an unknown race of obviously intelligent beings. However, on the other face of understanding comes the one that we came through part one with, and where we're in now in the Twilight Zone, freaky deaky. It is coming. Surely no intelligent life. No, unknown race of intelligent beings. That what we're doing, since we're asked the question, surely no intelligent life can survive there. We're being teased, in the least, if I'm right about where we're up at now, if you can at least follow me, even if you don't believe it yet. But you got to say, all right, well, Gary, it looks like I ain't getting your $2,000 today, but you won't get mine. All right, fine. But those have balls to take me to the challenge, I still do it. Because they're saying it's an unknown race of intelligent beings. That this was created by an unknown race of intelligent beings. What? The thin atmosphere of poisonous gas coming out of their mouth? The script? What we're doing? What we're following? That this is an unknown race? That their scientists now say that this giant sculpture that we're carving here now, that we're putting together, that we're scouring the Mars we now know to see the Mars they now know away. The very process is also an unknown race of intelligent beings. The starting gun's fired, motherfuckers. Now do you hear it? Do you hear it? Because once you see this and get that concept of possible face of understanding that still applies as a separate face than the other one we went over, or other ones we will go over, and they all will apply and adds yielded information to the intelligence being given to us by this our own intelligent light that obviously survives there, where in the script, where in the video, where created down through time, that was then sent to someone who many years later, after this was made and who didn't give a shit about any of this, was confirmed that Mars is artistically sculpted on an entire planetary scale. Therefore, this is a race of intelligent beings that is not just for me to see this and figure it out, but now I'm helping you see the starting gun. There's other racers in this race, meaning you. How many others of you that I'm doing my job to deliver to the earth because the race fired, and guess what? I'm ahead of you. I'm ahead of you. Why am I trying to help you all get ahead of me? That's the fucking question here. Why? Because that's part of the process in order for me to get to the finish to help make our fate. I cannot do it alone. It wasn't meant for me to do it alone. Do you see how and why, at least on that face of understanding, why that would be considered? So, by many scientists now say it's made by some unknown race of intelligent beings. So some unknown race of intelligent beings, meaning an unknown race created by these intelligent beings, not that they're unknown because it's their own. It's made by them. You get it? It's another attribute of signature on that other face of understanding. Again, this, remember, like the two balls of Mars? I mean, hey. You can't make this shit up and I'm on a roll. So, but Mean Green, if you had to jet, that would, I guess that would be cool. I will be probably going to one more break, maybe. And then I could just click the end stream myself, I believe, right? But it's better if you're there because, feel me, brother, I'm on fire, and I think it would be worth staying up for. Because I'm on fire, dude. I'm telling you, just like that item 9. So take that as you want. No offense, man. I love you. You know that. Of course, not in a gay way. So, the planet Mars we now know is covered with meteor craters, gigantic mountains, and deserts that reach around the entire planet. And one thing more, a giant sculpture, again, confirming my theory, that phase, this race itself is a giant sculpture of a work of art that they created of this race of our intelligent minds to test our minds, to see if we want these images? Can we see this intelligence in order to grasp and accept and adapt to that intelligence? You get it? There's a learning curve here, and it makes you smarter because you put these things together like I'm explaining to you now. Took me months and even years. Don't diss me. You have no fucking clue. And when you do, you may understand at the other face of understanding that their scientists know that this was created, this giant sculpture, what we're doing now, by some unknown race of intelligent beings that they know as intelligent beings, but is unknown to them, who helped create this race for us to test if surely no intelligent life could survive there, to figure it out, that it ain't just these intelligence guys who are the ones who created it. See, there's more than one face of understanding this all. And in order to get to, and if it is what it appears to be, what does that have to do with Earth? I had to rack my mind for months. Ask Mean Green. Again, without him, I wouldn't be alive. He helped my brain. He didn't have the answers, but I was. Ask him. I was never-ending vocal wheel of thought, of brain pattern, of motion, and connecting the things that Hoagland said that would only make it motion go. But like Francis Walsh said, I might be the hamster in the wheel. Am I? Maybe, but it seems that I'm putting a machine together, a giant sculpture down through time. That's in fact where a starting gun is fired. As we're being told, it's a race by an unknown race. It's an unknown race, unbeknownst to anyone, that this is actually a race. of intelligent beings. Those who are being considered intelligent, I guess, are the runners in this race. See, there's another face of understanding. We have to look at it like that in order for me to get to the end that if it is what it appears to be, what does that have to do with Earth? That's when we consider the first minute and the second minute, where holy crap, and again, you're getting it for free. Wouldn't it be great to have us, me and Hoagland, at a conference explaining all this solid with him understanding it and explaining it better, this shit? Because it validates my work that helped him enable to officially come out and acknowledge his secret work. Ta-da! Willy fucking Wonka, huh? Richard Hoagland in the Cydonia factory. Holy shit, mean green. How many years later does that now seem so relevant and so fitting that I just came right out of my mouth? This is not a coincidence, this show. My footsteps are not our own. I'm on fire, baby. Now that you all conceive that, okay, so it's an unknown race of intelligent beings that they don't know actually created this giant sculpture as the main maybe intelligence, but that but their scientists are also saying that what we're doing here in this sculpture that we're uncovering, that we're discovering, right? We're going through the craters, the gigantic mountains and deserts that reach around the entire planet. Remember, we're seeing the surface, because it said the surface of Mars is covered with, and it tells us what it's covered completely with. But now we're digging in like archaeologists. This opens up another file in the code, of attribute of what it's trying to train your mind to help you come up with the right thoughts, to conceive. Even some people might be easier or harder, faster or slower than others. Don't mock me. I'm ahead of you. Remember that. And you're getting this for free. Think about, the money that can be made at a conference, 10, 12, 15-hour conference somewhere. That would benefit Hoagland. Just validate my work, mofo. I'll validate and vindicate yours. You get the legacy you deserve. At least I'll be able to move on. And I succeeded as going to the head of the class. Where are the others in the class, Hoagland? All of them. All they want to do is sift off your name and leech off you and not even be true to themselves, because if they were, they'd be hopped onto these anomalies that you even said that they would glob onto if they were serious. Who's your real friends? Who's trying to help you get your legacy back? Who's the one who's fucking crazy now? All right, so let's go along. Boom. So it's a giant sculpture. We get it. It validates my theories. You all in a sense now. So, wow, this big whoop-de-doo with the first and second. But yet, if it is what it appears to be, what does that have to do with Earth?
And if it is what it appears to be, what...
And if it is what it appears to be, what do we see? Okay. We see space, right? You see space, meaning what we see on the surface. We see Earth, we see Moon, and we see Mars. Here's Mars. This is old NASA footage, by the way. NASA footage from their older movies. Here's Earth, here's the Moon, here's Mars. In this sub-image that they have in here, we have what? 1, 2, 3. 3 alien heads, right? Therefore, could that represent 3 beings? 3 individuals? Could this represent the beings and individuals that represent the intelligent life that surely exists there, where on Mars, as well as where we're at now in the understanding of this script of their thin poisonous atmosphere coming out of their mouth? Again, carbon dioxide. Prove me wrong. So, is that a hint and a clue to it? But look how it's shown. There's Earth, Moon, there's space. And if it is what it appears to be.
And if it is what it appears to be.
Okay. So then they show us Dr. Mark Carlotto's shape from shading out rendering of the face of Cydonia from the 1976 35A72. Okay. All right. Could that be the giant sculpture? On the surface, yes. Because it's on the surface, it's steering us along its surface story, its cover story. Get it? The surface of Mars we now know is covered. So they were telling whatever we see on the surface, that's the cover story, the circle. We have to penetrate the circle, get under for the underlying storyline. So it still does not steer off of the points which no one would disagree with on the surface. You know, a giant sculpture, and that leads to, oh, they mean the face, because this video is going to be a lot about the face and Cydonia and the monuments of Mars. Again, where you have one Richard C. Hoagland on the surface talking about the face of Mars and everything. But we're in a different level now. We are under the surface. So when we see this face, remember, we just seen a picture in space with Earth, the Moon, and Mars, right? And then the subframe of the three alien heads. So if it is what it appears to be, a giant sculpture. Okay, yes, that's a giant sculpture on the face. But how does that attribute or connect to the underlying storyline we're on? You just don't get it, at least visually? Well, it's a signature of the intelligent design of our own, therefore, in my opinion, connecting to the identity who also helped create this unknown race we are on of intelligent beings that see and figure out of this, what we're doing, as well as who actually created the fourth world, our own image, which is a different face of Mars, as a representation of identity, as an attribute, an identity marker. Think of it as like code. We have to be careful with everything that we see, like breadcrumbs, right? So let's look at this.
Known race of intelligent beings. And if it is, what?
Now, damn, I want to slow this part down. I wish I could. Boom. Now, notice, oh, shit. Oh, my God, meet and greet. Check this shit. You can't make this up. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Remember what I was just trying to describe as a signature of the identities who also created this unknown race that helped this intelligence, our own guys, make as an unknown race for in the future for some unknown race of intelligent beings, for some intelligent beings to figure out that we're in an unknown race, that therefore they created the script, and that for also created maybe these giant sculptures of faces on Mars. Because look how this image comes in at the face of Cydonia. It's at its side profile. Again, Dr. Mark Carlotto's rendering of 35A72 perspective to show the shape from shading of what the face shape actually looks like. And, you know, we have higher resolutions now also from Dr. Carlotto and through my processing of MRO CTX imagery. Wow. Let's just say, but that's not for this show. Now, notice as it transitions in from space, the space scene, into what we just went over, who and what I am conceiving on my thought process. Remember, as I describe this, you're changing your thoughts too carefully. You're following along carefully, and you're recording, because it's recorded on this working model, me describing my theories, you could call them, but they're facts. All right, my theories of the three beings of the subimage. Notice how now they shift in this subimage as it transitions in the Carlotto's shape from shading. But notice the mouth. Notice the mouth has the Earth part of the space scene as this scene transition in, being swallowed by the mouth or being part of the mouth, about to be eaten or chewed, or it's actually what? Being spoken to. Why? It's connected to the mouth. It's a message. It's a verbal message being told to the Earth for this, in this unknown race of us intelligent beings. Plus, he looks like he's smoking a doobie. If you cannot direct that to an attribute of signature as well, because, hey, people think of me. All right. But Lotus, it's a message to the earth. And if it is what it appears to be, what does that have to do with earth? That's one face of understanding. Locked and loaded. Notice the picture. Changes from the three-face alien beings. It swerves around, and look what we got. Right on fucking target, baby. We're looking down the sight. We're in sight of what? The message being communicated to us by the creators of this unknown race of intelligent beings. Symbology. Once you don't need script anymore. When you have enough, we get images. And when we learn how to read the images, we can hear the script without it being said. Hieroglyphs, as it was. I'm not a linguist, but I'm sure ask any linguist to hear my crazy shit right now, and I'm sure, I'll bet $1,000 there, they'll agree that that's accurate. That's how hieroglyphs work. It becomes symbols. So therefore, we're in an unknown race, not just of its thin atmosphere of poisonous gas, but of what is seen as the symbology that would still be able to connect to it and attribute, and therefore the riddle me this, riddle me that factor ever continues. That question distorted reality. Do I think Mars was nuked? Yes. In that regard, I don't find that, I find that as a reason why that would be a part of the issue, why they would want to keep all of this silent. Remember, especially during the same year, in 2 different places around the planet, discovering life and seeing these mugs. You think they a triple whammy. Now, so there's no reason to discount Dr. Brandenburg, but he has a timeline of when it was nuked. The question was, who nuked it? Because we have nukes. That issues the question and puts, in a way, some case, the theorists who said that, Mars, that we nuked Mars, we nuked the Fates, we nuked Mars. Well, that gets ruled out by the answer Dr. Brandenburg gave us. Because he said no. If it was recent, there'd be higher radioactivity, and it takes this was 150 million years ago when Mars was nuked. And by bigger weaponry than the nukes that we have ever let off here on Earth, by the way. And if it was closer to our proximity in time, not only would astronomers probably have seen the flashes and whatnot, even if it was covered up, there's always someone looking, especially during the nuclear era, because telescopes, astronomers. So that would have been noticed. Or maybe we can't rule it out, okay. But pretty sure that was an accurate statement, right? But the age of the isotopes of